This is how we do.
A lot of people, black, white, Mexican, young or old, fat or skinny, have a problem being true to themselves. They have a problem looking in the mirror and looking directly into their own souls. And the reason I am who I am today is because I can look directly into my face and find my soul.
What you just said where we left off, so where we left off in the last video was telling a little history about where and how I got into trucking, the reason why I decided to go with leasing. End goal game in leasing. Leasing and lease purchasing are two different things. So now in this one, we're going to explain, or I'm going to explain why you should consider a lease if you are considering doing a lease, the mind frame that you should have if you're considering doing a lease, and if you don't have this mind frame, then you should not lease. Okay, leasing is a very expensive thing. And now to this day, from knowing what I know, I tell people in your first year out in trucking, you're new to trucking, you're new to industry, your first year, you should go company. Don't look into leasing. I would, if I knew what I know now, or if there was somebody out there that was able to convey this message or this information that I convey on YouTube, to talk about the leasing or to break it down the way that I'm breaking it down, I would have never went lease first. Okay, I would have never went lease first. And the reason I say that is because I didn't know what I wanted in trucking when I first came in. And majority of the new guys that come into trucking, they don't know what they want in trucking. Matter of fact, a lot of the guys don't even know if trucking is for them. Okay? You don't know. This may be a new career for you. And even if this is something that ran in your bloodline, where it's grandfather was a truck driver, dad was a driver, I'm going to be a driver, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to like the industry or the lifestyle of trucking, right? So with that being said, why not be a company driver your first year to figure out if you like the industry, for you to learn the industry, for you to learn your truck, for you to learn where freight is coming out of for your division, for you to learn how to fuel your truck properly, for you to learn a lot of things in your first year, because that's the mistake that I made. I jumped right into the lease, didn't know nothing about the industry, didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, and voila, okay, I got into a lease, and when I look back at it, I should have been a company driver, okay? I tell people this all the time. Learn on somebody else's dime, if possible, okay? If possible, learn on somebody else's dime. And I use this analogy in Facebook when I was doing a live. I said, man, you gotta look at this like it's a scholarship, okay? Look at this like you're an athlete coming into the trucking industry. Good athletes get paid to become pros, right? Essentially, they get paid to become pros. They are offered schooling for free, costs them absolutely nothing. They're on a scholarship, and while they're learning how to be a pro in the collegiate level, working on their craft, working on their skill, to when they get to the pros, that they can go full-fledged, they can go hard, they can get that big contract. They're also gaining knowledge, right? So they're getting the free education also from schooling, because the school pays for them to be there to play on their athletic team. Look at trucking the same way. These companies out here have paid training or paid schooling, okay, if you stay with them for a year, such as like Prime, the Warners, and the Stevens, all the ones who have programs at their school for you to get your CDL, Look at it like it's college, and you are a athlete coming into the collegiate level. Okay, they're going to pay you. They're going to teach you if you stay with them for the amount of the contract, right? Similar to how college is. In that contract year or your first year for your schooling to be paid off, learn. Because a lot of them, the contract is like this. You stay with us for a year, your CDL schooling is free. It costs you nothing. You don't have to pay us nothing back. You don't have to do anything. If you leave early, then there's consequences to it, okay? You have to pay the schooling back because you left, okay? And basically, we're just giving you a free ride, and you dipped out on us. So that's how that goes. But in that first year, you should be working on your craft of learning the industry, learning what it is that you want from this industry, what you want to do in this industry in your first year while you're driving down the road. If this is something that you can see yourself in for long term, this is something that you like, I just can't do it. I can't be away from family. Because see, a lot of people get into this thinking that they can be away from family, and then they get the reality check that they can't be away from family, right? And then they jumped into a lease, and now they stuck like Chuck, because when they turn it back in, now they have charges on trying to get the truck back up to its standard, and they're going to charge you essentially. Now, whether you pay that back or not, it's on you, okay? But you still, you got a bill on your head because you went into something that you wasn't sure if you was built or cut for. This is why I tell people in your first year, man, go company. Learn on somebody else's dime. They're willing to pay you to learn. You need to accept that, okay? And that's the drastic thing that I didn't do when I came into the industry. I didn't learn the industry on somebody else's dime. I learned on my own dime. It set me back, honestly, because by now, if I would have did the company thing for a year, stacked up a lot of money, and then went out and purchased trucks, I probably would be at about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 trucks by now. And I'm on my working on my 5th year in trucking. So I'm behind the 8 line. All right, so people want to know if leasing is worth it, if leasing is something you should do. You have a lot of places that have a different scale of pay, okay? Have a different scale of pay. Some have percentage, some have flat rate, some do per mile, okay? Which, if you're leasing and you're getting paid per mile, terrible. All right, it's terrible. All the way around the board. At the end of the day, as far as the numbers go on you leasing, can you become profitable? You can. I was very profitable when I was with Prime, but in order for me to be profitable with Prime, essentially I had to train. Okay, I had to keep my wheels turning with a student in order for me to make good money. So if you go into any of these mega carriers, the only way that you're going to stay well afloat, you're going to make good money in doing your leasing, is if you train. So the advice I would give is, if you're not willing to train at a mega carrier, do not lease. Another thing for those that are thinking about leasing after they've done their year, you need to figure out, once again, what the end goal game is. I wouldn't tell anybody to get into a lease unless you were considering being a fleet owner. Having multiple trucks eventually is your end goal game within a few years, okay? Other than that, to me, leasing a truck at any carrier, mega carrier, whatever, and once again, leasing means with the intent to turn this truck back in and either re-up, get a new one, do what you do. Okay, this, like I said, this has nothing to do with lease purchasing. Lease purchasing is totally different. End goal game is you will own that title, that truck, at the end of the lease. Okay. Leasing is at the end of the lease. You either get a end of lease payout, or you turn it in, you get another truck. All right. And to me, the only time that doing a lease makes sense or is profitable to anyone is if you have multiple units and you are a fleet owner. But yeah, that's the only time in my eyes that leasing a truck with the intent to turn it back in is profitable, is if you are intending to own multiple trucks or lease multiple trucks and be a fleet. That way that you have the maintenance on them. You have no intention of owning any of these trucks as a fleet owner. Okay, everything is about making money, and by you having multiple units, you can make good money. To me, as being a solo operator, wanting to be a solo operator, owner operator, what have you, having a lease truck, being a solo operation with no end goal game of owning a fleet, because in the lease you're trying to learn the game of being a fleet owner, right? With these leases, so then you can know when you go get multiple trucks of them and you can lease them, you know how the operation goes. But if your end goal game is to just lease and turn back in and only do it with one truck all the time, you are wasting a lot of time and you're wasting a lot of money. If your end goal game is not to be a fleet owner, I do not recommend you to lease at all with any carrier, with anything. Okay, do not lease any of their trucks if your end goal game is not to be a fleet owner within the next, I would say, 3 to 5 years. Okay, honestly, because you don't want to waste that much time, okay, leasing these trucks if that's not your end goal game. That's about as blunt and as truthful as I can be about that situation. If I had it to do all over again, I would have went company my first year. Okay, my second year I probably would have leased for the second year, and my third year I would have been on my way to getting multiple trucks to lease on to a carrier, and to do basically the same thing that the mega carriers do. Okay, they lease these trucks. Once the warranty is up, they turn them over, and they get brand new trucks all over again. Woody 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 woo, woody 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 woo. Same thing. And a lot of people are gonna be like, "What's woody 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 woo?" That just means whatever. Okay, so it's a filler. But what they do is they run them till the warranty is done, turn them over, and then they get brand new trucks back in. That's being a fleet owner. Fleet owners understand that. They utilize these trucks for what they are. They're tools. They are here to make money. They don't fall in love with them. They don't care nothing about them. When they break, then it's under warranty. Get it fixed. All right, and that's the reason why with their leases they're so successful and they're so slick with their leases. They'll sit there and essentially say, hey, if you want to take on the responsibility of this truck, I don't have to make the payment, right? Because other than that, if you don't make the payment, then I got to put a company guy in here and I got to make the payment. But you want to take over this payment, I'm going to tack on an extra 20, 30,000 that I need to make off of you doing this as well. Okay, as well. I'm going to jack it up a little bit, because there's no way in the world that the owner is paying $1,000 a week for that truck. No way. Okay, he might have it about 600, so you're gonna get you for 400 additional every week. And you're gonna slide smooth into his pocket. All right. So since you want to take it on, you go ahead and take it on, and then this is a lease, so you're not buying this truck. So what's gonna happen when the warranty is up? You're gonna turn it in. We're gonna put you back in another one, hopefully. Okay. We're going to put you back in another one. And we're going to continue getting that additional 400 a week or whatever have you. And when he flips that one back in, he gets brand new trucks. And he's going to potentially get a end of the lease payout. Or you see how they charge you? You see how they charge you? Because they're going to charge you at the end of the lease to get it back up to standard, so then he can give it back to the dealership so then they can resell it. You see where I'm going? So who's really winning? You as a lease driver, are you winning? Or is it the smart move to lease, to learn the game, exactly how the mega fleets is out here doing it, and then start to do yours 3 years into the industry? First year company, second year lease, third year working my fleet. Like I said, I'm working on my 5th year. I just now got my first one. I will be having my second truck in 3 months, and we're working the plan. All right. So unless you have the end goal game, once again to recap, unless you have the end goal game of being a fleet owner within 3 to 5 years, leasing is a waste of time, a waste of money, and coming from a person who leased for 4 years, I'm telling you that if you don't have that end goal game, don't do it. Don't waste your time. Either continue being a company driver till you saved up enough money till you want to go out and personally buy your own truck. And if you're a one and you want to be a one-man operation, also known as an owner-operator, then there you go. You skip the whole leasing thing. You'll own your truck, and you can go on your way about being an owner-operator, one-man show. But don't try to be a one-man show leasing a truck with the end game of turning it back in. All right. I hope that this information was very helpful to you guys. A lot of people have been asking me this question about it, and I hope that this will sum up for the people that are looking into leasing and want to know my honest opinion on if they should do it or should they not, and what direction they should go. I hope that I broke it down as easy as possible. It's a lot more to it behind it, but this is the easiest format and easiest way that I feel that I could break it down and let you know that if you're not in those end goal games, for you not to do it. Okay. And if I was to start all over again today, would I jump right into a lease immediately coming into the industry? Absolutely not. And I don't recommend anybody else do that. All right. And I feel like people that tell you to do it or that want you to do it, maybe they can help pay your payments. All right, when you get in the hole, I don't know. But you have to look out for self. You have to have an end goal game in all of this. All right? And don't sell yourself short. Have a goal and stick to it. That's it. All right? But don't get in no lease in your first year. I really highly suggest that. All right? I'm serious about that. I live by that. Don't get in a lease in your first year. Go company your first year. And then don't get into a lease if you are going to be in the mind frame of you want to just be a solo runner forever. Don't waste your time. Just stay a company driver till you have enough money stacked up to where you can go to a dealership and purchase your truck, and then you can be an owner-operator. All right? Hope that helped y'all out, man, once again. If you do like the video, please do like, share, subscribe. Also, check the description box below for all kind of different links. We got the YTTA affiliates in there for Facebook, YTTA Network in there for Facebook. Also, we do have the YTTA t-shirts. YTTA store has these t-shirts in there. If you are interested in purchasing a YTTA shirt, that is where you would find it. All right? To the next video, man, y'all stay safe and don't do nothing I wouldn't do, like be unsafe. And as always, winners focus on winning, and losers, they focus on winners. And we winning all day right here with Trucking with LoShawn Parks. YTTA all day. Peace out, man. Y'all be safe.